Hello everyone, we are indeed so back, Jess. Welcome! Hope everyone has been well and that you're having an excellent weekend. It's great to see you all again. Hello, Phillip, Real, David Ray, Jess, Trey, Stream Elements. Alright. Hello. Hopefully we don't die a million times on the last castle level. We'll have to see what happens. Let me know audio level versus talking level. First stream in a bit. So will there be some jank? There's going to be some jank whether I stream every day or whether I stream every other year. It's just the way it seems to go here. I am very envious of the people who just like seem to never have anything go wrong with their streams ever. But, you know, maybe that's just part of the fun that we have here. But yes, everyone, welcome. It's Mario 2 time. Alright, been looking forward to this for a long time, David. Yeah, thank you all again so very, very much. I'm excited. I'm also kind of nervous. You know, first stream back, you want it to be a good one. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But yes, and just overall, thank you all so much for everything on the channel lately. You know, it's been an amazing first week back, and just thank you all for helping make it such a success. And I'm so excited because there's still so much to come. So we'll see how it all goes. I hope I unmuted my mic. I did. Right. We are going to get going in just a second here. R.I.P. Poison Mushroom. Yeah, I know. You get to keep watching the demo here. So, of course, Mario 2. Not the one we got in the West, but known as the Lost Levels more commonly, thanks to Mario All-Stars, and has funky stuff like that. And, you know, the first time I played Mario All-Stars, I grabbed that blue mushroom. I mean, yeah, they're blue in the All-Stars version. I'm like, what? Why'd I die? And, yeah, so, you know, you're supposed to watch the demo, I guess. But then the Mario All-Stars version doesn't have a demo, so you're kind of ripped off in that regard. Let's start this. Okay. Is everyone ready to go? Let me make sure everything's unmuted. There's no sound on the game yet, so you shouldn't be hearing that. So one note is I have beaten this on the original Famicom Disk System before, and I had intended to play it on the original Famicom Disk System tonight. However, having not used a Famicom Disk System in a little bit, when I went to go and try it out, it wasn't working. And I have two here. So I have one actually that's always underneath my AV Famicom, and then one then in a box in the cabinet. And they were both giving me the same issue where like you put the disc in and it doesn't sound like anything's happening. It like never ends up giving you an error. It just like kind of tries to load forever, but since the disc isn't even spinning, you know, you can't hear it moving at all. I'm guessing that the belts in both of them have gone bad. Even though it was about a decade ago, I got someone to replace both the belts, and you know I don't use them all that often, so I figured there wouldn't be any problem. But apparently, I guess even just not using them, the belts wear out and degrade or whatever. And then like you know after a decade, you'd figure it'd be a little longer than that. So you know, disc systems, I love them. You know, I love the NES. I think it has a really cool library I want to dive into more, but they're just like a pain to own and to use, unfortunately. So we're playing the flash cart today. So what I'm going to show you is like if we reset, you know, it looks just like the disk system. It's going to have like the loading times just like the disk system would have, but it's not. But it's close enough, hopefully. Hello, Trey. You've played this version, but just from what I've seen about this game, it's going to be really hard. Well, let's give it our best. They're 40 years old, but yeah, that's what I'm saying though. Even though I had the belt change, like it was probably about 10 years ago, I thought they would last longer than that. I figured the reason that they needed to be replaced was because they were like 30 years old at that point, but I didn't think it was going to be like an every 10 years thing. So I'm going to have to look more into it and figure out how to fix them on my own, I think, if it's going to be that common of a problem. But okay, everyone, are you ready? Let me know if you do not hear audio, but you should. Here we go, it's Mario 1. Can you imagine if I died to the first dude, what kind of, you know, words that would paint for how the rest of the evening is probably going to go. So Mario 2, people say this game is really tough, and it's like mean and all that, but how can a game that's that mean give you an opportunity right at the beginning to get infinite 1-ups if I had done it correctly? Now see, we don't have to get that. But if you want to play the legit way, there's already a 1-up being handed to you right there. So easy peasy is the name of this game, if you ask me. There's a star. Should we get it? I swear I touched the star at the exact instant that I also took damage, so you can't tell me otherwise. And the reason we're not going to go any more to the right yet is because I want to wait for the star to run out. So my goal tonight is to try and get as many 1-ups as possible. Maybe that's, we'll end up getting like 40 game overs instead. But I'm just kind of curious to see how many we might be able to rack up. You know, that classic glitchy Super Mario Brothers 1 life counter. And you'll see what we can do with that. Oh, there's another mushroom down here, but if we do something like this, should be able to do something like that. And look at that, we're already breaking the game. No, unfortunately, they didn't put any sort of secret up there. Let's see, what can we do here? Something like that. Want to make sure we have 33 coins. Does everybody know the most important secret in Japanese Super Mario Brothers 2 is if you have a coin counter with the same 2 digits, and then you touch the flagpole at the exact moment that the 1's digit is the same as your coin digits, you get a 1-up. And it doesn't matter if you get the top or not, because the 1-up replaces any points you would have gotten. But with that, you can rack up like 40 billion lives before you're even out of the first world. Kind of beat this on the SMB Game & Watch. Oh, that's right, there was that, the Game & Watch thing. That had like a few things in it. Everything except the Mario Game & Watch here. But alright, on to level 2 here. Power up here, but can't get it because I think Luigi can actually fit up there. But Mario's not going to be able to get that flower. But yeah, like, once you kind of know more about Mario 2, it becomes kind of demystified, and it's not too scary. But, you know, naturally, I get where people are coming from. Of course, here's a secret right here, a classic one. Something like that. And then if we go up here, we can do this. Get the 99 1-up? Yeah, well, just like how in, 3-1 of Mario 1, you can do the thing. You can actually do that in like the first level here. Alright, World 3 everyone! We're already like halfway through the game. What? You thought this was going to be a full playthrough? It's not like it says that in the title or anything like that. But yeah, here we are, World 3! Who doesn't love good old World 3? No warping tonight, David Ray. I don't know. There might be ever so slightly some warping. Let's see what we got going on down here. We got really funky, like, long underground bonus room. Something you don't see all that often. We even got, like, the first appearance of Bullet Bills. Bullet Bills don't appear until, like, halfway through Mario 1. But in Mario 2 here, they're, like, throwing them at you right away. Somehow never had a Metro Game & Watch. Yeah, they kind of gave up on that after the Zelda ones, huh? What? Back to World 1? So of course that's a classic part of Super Mario Brothers 2 is the old backwards warp zones. Hey, I feel like we've seen this level before. Okie dokie. So, second chance to try and get this. So yeah, you can just kind of keep looping back and forth and get like a million 1-ups. There we go! Okay, I don't actually want to get a ton of 1-ups that way, but I did want to show you that it's possible. And does this one come back too? Okay, so yeah, like see, you can get like 30,000 1-ups, and there's just nothing that anyone can do about it. But let's actually play the game now. So no, we're not warping tonight, but just for a laugh, I thought we would do that. So in the All-Stars version, here's a big difference for you all. Look at that! If you get them to load properly, you can get double 1-up from that scenario. We went down the pipe last time. Let's see all of the exciting things that we missed by not going down the pipe. Got a power-up and everything. Actually, there was a power-up inside the pipe too. And I think that just kind of brings us here. Oh my gosh! Okay. Okay, no more Mr. Nice Guy. Oh, I was going to try and do the 1-up thing, but I don't have double digits. Whoops. Okay. No Kirby one either. Yeah, I mean, there was still lots of potential. I don't think they sold as well as they thought they would. You could find those things, later on for, like, half price or less because they made so many. I think they thought, the whole scalpers were going to jump on that like they did with the mini consoles, and they just never caught on as much it seemed. Okay, so if we do this right, we can at the very least get our mushroom back. Thank you. And hey, okay, so we're back to this familiar place. So here are like a bunch of blocks that you can hit. Like that one has a 1-up mushroom, that one has a power-up, that one has a 1-up mushroom. We're gonna let that thing get way ahead. We have some kind of funky platforming here, and if you try to, slow yourself down so that you don't despawn the 1-up, that is when everything goes to crap and back. All right. Hi, Wheels. Great to see ya. Thanks. And I just means so much, everyone who waited so long for more streams, and I'm so thankful and so appreciative to have a community who's willing to wait so long, and I'm so sorry to have put you through that. But from this point forward, I have no plans to slow down. We got content for a long time, and I hope it means many more streams to come. Welcome, Christian. Yeah, Tiger Handheld Revival was more successful, says Extreme Wreck. Why? Did you play the original Mario Bros. On the arcade machine? Yeah, so, there's like Versus Super Mario Brothers you can find out there, which is pretty cool. Super Tom, hey, did you play the Nintendo Wii version of Donkey Kong NES with the Pie Factory put back in? Yes, and I even have that ROM on the flash cart. I recommend everyone get that. So you can play it on like a real NES, which is pretty cool. But okay, we're gonna do a silly thing like this, not fall to our doom. And now we are on our way through the game. One of you has a thing. Maybe it's... Oh my gosh. The little duck jump. Hi Jess! This game can be fun, but when you get further, it gets way too hard and unfun. Well, our plan here is to do like all 3,000 worlds tonight, so we're gonna see what we can do about that. So again, normally in like the olden game, going to the top there would take you to a warp zone. If you kept going to the right without going down this pipe, you get the warp zone to World 2. And we've already seen the warp zone to World 3, so this level has warp zones for like 2, 3, and 4. But it doesn't... Oh my gosh! I almost didn't have enough momentum for that. But they won't put them together, which is kind of cool. So this one, if you're small, it's no problem, but you want to make sure you can get it like as close as possible to that hole before you do something scary like that. So the warp zone to World 4 is on the other side of this wall. But, just for fun, we came down here and we're gonna get some money. Whenever you see this bonus room, it's like, a warp zone is nearby. I don't know why. Oh god. Okay, let's get some more of that money here. Again, like, look how many lives we're gonna have, and we've only beaten, like, 2 levels. We can even do this one again. We'll do 42. Okay, that was almost really bad. So the reason I do 42 and not 44, any level that ends with, like, this kind of segment where you have to, come back above ground and hit the flag, there are 2 coin blocks here, which you can use to just, like, get to the top of the pole. But again, we don't need to because we're going to be getting the 1-up anyway. So there you go. Yeah, Super Tom Brother. Yeah, they're really cool. I have like the Trinity. I have the NES, the Super NES, and the 64. Definitely want to play like some more Banjo-Kazooie ROM hacks or something like that. But thanks everyone for stopping by tonight. It means a lot. Everyone's checking out the stream. Again, we've played 2 levels, 2 and like a half, I guess, of Mario 2 right now. But okay, let's go. Let's see what we got in store in 1-3 here. So far it's followed, the progression of the original game pretty closely, where it's like normal level, underground level. So here's the flying bloopers, kind of like the staple of lost levels. Those guys aren't supposed to appear outside of the water. Oh, okay, we got 55. If we can get to the end now without touching any more money, we can do the trick at the flagpole again. Okay, well here's going to be a lot of money. I'm going to end up dying at some point in like an attempt to not touch the money. Losing a life in an attempt to get one is a classic, not even just Mario, but like, retro game staple overall. Super Mario Bros. 5 is a fun game. Which one would be Mario 5? Like Mario 64? Mario Land 1? No, Mario Land 1 came up before World, right? But okay, here we go. Almost through 1 world without any silly deaths. It's almost unbelievable. Got the old fire bars going around. So this level is really nice, and unlike Mario 1, where you start getting like some repeat levels in the second half that are just a little bit more difficult, this game doesn't really do that. Ooh, well, that was really dumb. Just having a good old time here, not thinking to wait for the fire bars to spin around. Almost like I predicted that was gonna happen. Alright, this playthrough's over. Good night, everyone. I forgot how to play Mario 2, Mario 1, whatever game this is. That was the silliest death. But you knew it was going to happen. You knew we couldn't have streaming come back without the silly deaths also come back. I was really looking forward to like a no-death run here. We're going to definitely be trying for a no-game over run. But the no-death run is a little more, sooner than I expected. The fire. There's a bunch of ROM hacks released in Russia for as Mario games for the Dendy. Yeah, we've played some funky Mario stuff. What about that one where they always put Mario's head on like Jackie Chan from Jackie Chan Adventures? But okay, World 2. So here's another big change, is that World 2 is now the nighttime world instead of World 3. Completely original content we got going on here. But of course the levels are all different, so that's what's really important. Alright. back to fully powered up. So yeah, at Death in World 1, I'm very ashamed, but I'll make up for it at some point. I'll make up for it by doing an epic kind of sea jump into this pipe here. Oh god, maybe I can't do it. Okay, there we go, we did it. All crimes forgotten. And yeah, some funky kind of bonus room setups in Mario 2. Oh, how? How did I just do that? Granddad 7 is a classic. We played that, don't forget. Don't forget that we played that. Ugh, not really much room to get a momentum there. But okay, so one thing I'm not a big fan of in Mario 2, and I guess I should get back to this, making sure I fall in a good spot here. Sometimes, you know, those kind of place you over a hole or something. Oh, here's like the weird collision. You can always tell that there's an invisible block because it makes like the tiles work weird. But I'm not a huge fan of, in Mario 2, how they changed like the metal floating platforms to look like mushrooms for some reason. Okay, it doesn't apply to the sky one. But you saw back there like they did that, and I'm not sure why. Like, you know, they seem to kind of have a philosophy is like everything must change, or like at least 95%. The coins didn't change, the question mark blocks didn't change, these clouds look the same. But most of the graphics went like under some kind of makeover. Okay, let's try and get 44. Okay, so we can get the 1-up at the end of the poll here. We gotta make up for my silly mistake. Oh, there would have been coins down here anyway. And then here's this guy again. So yeah, the green springs that like shoot you into oblivion. And if we can land on top of this brown blocks, we could have gotten the 1-up. I guess we've lost our chance at that, unfortunately. Again, you know, we're missing some opportunities, but we'll make it up by getting some other ones like this one right here. There you go. But yeah, the floating blocks turning into mushrooms instead of like the metal look, that's one change I'm not the biggest fan of. So we don't have a day of the week set. What the heck is that? Oh my god, Christian! Thank you! So Christian, wow, thank you so much. That's a
I know you don't want to give Nintendo money. What about if it's my money? NSO Mario Party tongue.
Wow. Well, thank you, Christian. Thank you so much for that. And I love that the voice-to-speech actually works. So, Christian, so I was talking about how Nintendo... Okay, well, we have to get into a topic of Nintendo. Way to make all my subscribers unsubscribe, Christian, if I start slandering Nintendo here. But they've been raising the prices of, like, everything recently, which, you know, you'd think that the generation's coming to an end, the things from the last generation should start to go down a little bit. And yet, I don't want that star because it means I can hit this guy. This is going to be like a 10-part conversation as I've concentrated on everything. What? All the dudes didn't load. I didn't end up getting my 1-up. We'll have to make up for it in other ways. Lots of making up for 1-ups in other ways, but at least we're kind of cruising here. Not too bad so far. Okay, I should try and manipulate it so that we get the right number of coins for the thing at the end. So I'm looking at 88, it looks like. Actually, no, because I have to hit, I think, 2 invisible blocks coming up anyway. Yes! For this part where it's like, ooh, am I supposed to make a leap of faith? It's like 1 of 40 times in this game where you just gotta hit this. But Christian, I want to get back to you, and that's just crazy. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And yeah, I was talking to Christian about how Nintendo raised the price of Nintendo Switch Online, and it was normally one of those things where just like, okay, you know, I always renew it, no questions asked. But in Canada, because yet we're streaming from the old, great expensive north here, and it went up $5, and I was like, well, then I guess I'll just, maybe if I want to buy like a month of it sometime or something, I'll do that, but I don't really have any intentions of subscribing like I used to. Because it's just like, if I don't need it, then they're gonna start raising the prices. I just don't want anything to do with that. So then, you know, I guess Christian, I guess I'll do it. So thank you so much. And we'll play some Mario Party and all that jazz at some point. But yeah, like even the games in Canada went up $5, where people in the US, you guys are all getting used to the big old 80 on your price tag now, where that's the price that we had in Canada since like the start of the Switch generation. And games that even came out like in the early Switch days underwent that was an interesting shell kill for the Cheep there. Hold on, let me beat the level and we'll continue the story. Like I said, this is going to be a 10-part story. So even the games that have been out since the Switch launched got a $5 increase. Like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Mario Odyssey went from being $80 new sealed at the store to $85, and probably on the eShop as well. Like, that's crazy that they're raising prices of like launch day Switch games. Oh shoot. Yes, okay, I was just waiting for the shell to come back and hit me in the face, and I realized, no wait, this is a 1-up kind of run. No. Okay. Saved it. And yeah, so between that and between, you know, Nintendo raising all the prices, it's like, it's a freaking subscription service. It costs you nothing. I'm just like, I'm done. I don't need to. I'm just gonna think more about how I spend the old moolah. So there's a, you know, multi-coin block, but we're not gonna stick around for that. But I guess we'll do it, Christian. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, we got burned by Nintendo. Yeah, you're not kidding. Brown Brick says real. Yeah, it always hurt because, you know, then the Canadian taxes and all that. By the time I'd buy a Switch 1 game, it would be almost $100. And now Switch 2 games, even without taxes or anything, range from like $99 to like $115, you know, like $99.99. So basically $100 to $115. So I don't have a Switch 2. And I don't have any particular plan on getting one anytime soon. And like when I think about that, the saddest part of it is that someday like Mario Kart Double Dash and Mario Kart Mario Party 4, 5, 6 will come out for it, and like I won't be able to play those online. That's the one reason I have any interest in the Switch 2. Not because I care about the Switch 2 games, but because I care about playing freaking GameCube games on it, which is kind of funny. Now there was supposed to be a 1-up block here. Ugh. But you're supposed to bounce on that guy, and I messed up the bounce. But we actually might get a second try at that. Ooh, boy. So we're gonna go down here. And yeah, we've seen this one a couple times now. Get a Switch 3? Well, that's what I'll do, right? I'll skip the generation. Like, I'm not saying I'll never get a Switch 2, but, like, there doesn't seem to be any rush to get it at this moment. Maybe there'll be like another bundle someday, or oh no, I spawned the power up and it despawned the vine. My coin bonus room. We'll never know just how much I could have expanded my wallet from that. Now, this may be a second chance at getting the 1-up though. No, it didn't even spawn the freaking second time. This run's ruined. Let's start again. But yeah, you know, there might be like a pro version, or, you know, a version with some other different feature. Now this is sneaky because it could easily make you go over the flagpole here, and if you did, you'd end up at that one backwards warp zone that we saw before. But we're not doing that this time. Here we go, real progress. Yukari Playly is out yet. I don't think for the Switch. Maybe just on PC, or maybe it is on the Switch too. Unfortunately, it's not going to be on the Switch 1, so that's like one thing we won't be playing. But I'm so happy that I played Yooka-Laylee 1, or like the OG, just so everyone kind of has a point to compare it to, which is pretty cool. It's funny that like everything I played earlier this year ended up coming back into play later this year. Like I played Mario Galaxy 2, and then what happens? Mario Galaxy Movie and the bundle. And then I played Yooka-Laylee Original, and then what happens? Yooka Playly. Because neither of those things were announced back when I played them. So here it looks like I'm just kind of bandwagoning off the popular topic back in the early days of this year. But no, they weren't even announced yet, which is kind of funny. And also, I don't think I ever finished the story like half an hour ago now about a difference between All-Stars version and this version, where in All-Stars, in order to unlock World 9, you have to use no warp zones, even backwards warp zones. But the way it works in the original game is that you just have to beat every level. So the fact that we warped ahead and then warped back, it's not going to cancel us out from getting World 9 because we're still playing all the levels by warping backwards that we originally skipped. It's on Steam and such, yeah. What else we got here? Really like Switch 2, Bonanza is amazing, and Mario Kart World is beautiful. Yeah, I mean, of course, anyone who wants to buy and play Switch 2 stuff, nothing against it. I hope everyone has lots of fun. It's just not on my wish list at the current time. Ugh. Again, there's like a way you can get a 1-up there, but I think we're doing pretty good for the lives. We're almost halfway there-ish. So a full playthrough of Mario 2J includes worlds 9, A, B, C, and D, and that is the intention tonight. After we conclude the basic stuff here. I'm just kind of quiet for a second because there's some funky jumps going on. All right. I didn't have to land on the Koopa, but you see him and it's like, I want to get that guy. Switch 1 October 2017. You're surprised with Mario Odyssey for Christmas. That is so cool. Yeah, like the Switch one, I'm so happy with. I love the Switch one. I think it's just one of the freaking coolest things. Actually, maybe you're supposed to go down. I might have messed it up, or is it up here? No, it's supposed to be down. Yeah, here we have our first kind of maze of the game. Actually, I probably shouldn't have done that, because that might not respawn now, and it's good to have that later. You'll see why. So you go down, but you actually have to take a hit here, because then you have to go really down, and the only way to do that is to be like super small. Please tell me that the power-up comes back. Yes, thank goodness. Okay. So it's like you're, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you're forced to take a hit there. And that would be like a really big anomaly for a Mario game. It's like a point where you have to take a hit. Or I guess if you didn't ever get a power-up in the first 3 worlds, you technically wouldn't have to take a hit. But who's not going to grab at least one power-up at some point? So yeah, you want to talk about a way that Mario 2J is mean. I guess there's an example for you. So we already have 8 game clears, which is cool. So that's the thing is about the Famicom Disk System, is like, that was the introduction of being able to save your Nintendo games, because it would just rewrite the disk, like literally. It would change the game's data to save the data. And that's what happens with Mario 2 here, is it actually saves how many times you've beaten the game. And so it already thinks we've beaten it over 8 times. So we'll have no trouble getting to those extra worlds here. What else we got going on? But yeah, Diego, long time no see. Thank you so much for stopping by. Virtual Boy Nintendo Switch Online is a good thing we'll talk about. Yes. Switch to Okie dokie. So, yes, the Virtual Boy on Nintendo Switch Online. So it's so confusing. Like, do you have to have the accessory to play the Virtual Boy games? Because when I saw that announced, I was like, okay, that's cool, because this will mean an easy way to play the Virtual Boy games on your TV screen. And, like, record them and all that, so that's a huge plus. Is there not supposed to be a one up there? Things just don't feel like loading, I guess. Actually, I think this is a poison one. It is. Alright, somehow going in that pipe that was on top of blocks leads to a crazy underwater zone. Got like a pyramid of coins here, and but maybe like the only appearance ever of Buzzy Beetles underwater, which is kind of funny. Like, we could spend 3 years getting all of those, but I don't think we will. And hey, Blooper's back in their natural habitat here. But yeah, please correct me if I'm wrong about how the Virtual Boy Online works, because if you can play it on your TV, then I think that's cool. But if you're like forced to buy the accessory, and then like you're forced to stick your face into it, which is like the thing that no one wants to do when they play the original Virtual Boy, you know, like they're like, you know, everyone's like, oh, it gives you headaches and stuff. So why they would force you to play it like that when it could just be output to the TV makes no sense to me. But I hope I'm wrong. I hope there is a way to play it on the actual TV, because it would be so silly if there's not. But yeah, lots of kind of side rooms in this level, huh? You assume you can play them on your TV? Like, I'm so confused, because that's what I thought too. And then I thought there was like a graphic where it said something about either the Labo face accessory or the plastic one is required to play. So it's like, well, what the heck does that mean then? Like, you have to stick your face into it? I don't know. That was a thing that was just confusing all around. And interesting, that now of all times they would bring back the Virtual Boy. I'm not sure it's what anybody had on their mind. Nintendo releases a brand new console. So what do? They bring back the freaking Virtual Boy. And it's not even Switch 2 exclusive, right? So, yeah. Japan got more GBA ports of Famicom games. Yeah! And of course, there's a few of them that are Japan exclusive games. Disk System games and such too. I can't say no to a power-up, even if I'm already powered up. This is a star. I was gonna say, maybe it's a trick. It seems like anytime this game gives you a star, yeah, it's a trick, because then I could have kicked this guy and gotten like 41 ups from over here. The only time this game gives you a star is when it's like a punishment for some reason. No way! Now we get this flower. But because it's technically only, you know, increasing our power state by 1, you know, 1 above small is just Big Mario and not Fire Mario. So how did everyone enjoy the Messing with Super Mario Brothers video? Again, thanks everyone for checking that out too. So glad everyone's been enjoying the content. And yeah, you get to understand a little bit more of the behind the scenes stuff going on here. Now, maybe I shouldn't have bothered with the 99 because I think the way that this one ends, I'm gonna have to make it really silly kind of time to jump here. No! 1 second too late for the 1-up. Oh well. I just want the high score, Christian. So in Super Mario Bros. 2J, you get 100,000 points at the end of the game for every extra life that you have. That's a different thing, as well as getting points after beating a castle level. Are two things, oh no, that were changed in this version of the game. You know, among several other changes, but those are kind of some castle-related changes, I guess. Can I get 2 more coins? Or actually, I guess, yeah, I need 2 more now. Although I don't think we're going to be getting up there. I forgot how far that jump was. Second death. Nah, not too bad. The extra lives of awesomeness. Yeah, we're at Crown 8. I don't know how we'll ever come back from all the deaths we've had. Okay, so maybe with these 2 lives. Now that I'm at the double digits again. Big jump! Oh, almost got bullet bill to the face. Now where the heck am I going? Okay. Oh, I almost got 1 on the counter. Oh well. Alright. But yeah, why can't they just release Virtual Boy Wario Land when they released the first games? We need like a Wario Land collection would be so cool. But I guess at this point, 3 is on Game Boy Online. We played 4 when it was released. Shake It. You know, if they ever do a Wii Online, I guess they could do that. And now we'll be getting Virtual Boy, so that's cool. Virtual Boy Wario Land is fantastic. I bought a Virtual Boy back in the day just because I wanted to play Virtual Boy Wario Land. It was the only Wario Land I hadn't beaten, and I was on like a big Wario Land spree. And I have no regrets. You remember the World 4 castle being hard. Okay, let's see here. Yeah. You saw I tried the duck and then jump, because that's kind of makes it easier to get in that hole. But he unducked when I jumped. So we messed that up. There's a few times in this game when like you need to do duck jumps. Because you're required to fit into slightly narrow passages. Like, it's not even that narrow, but for some reason, even holding right isn't enough for the game to let you enter that area. Yeah, the Virtual Boy controller with its 2 D-pads. Not used all that often. There's a few like Teleroboxer, I think 3D Tetris had some stuff like that, so here we gotta do like a weird thing again. Alright. Jump over this guy. Now we're on our way to victory here. So yeah, the red piranha plant's another kind of thing that this game introduced. Ugh. That's okay, kind of. Oh no, maybe not. No, I wanted to be up there 1 more to get a power up, but okay. So World 4 Castle, things are picking up a little bit here. But I'm not ready to say this is like too difficult yet. Alright, there we go. I just want to play Water World. It will always be funny that one of the like biggest box office bombs of all time has a game on one of the biggest bomb consoles of all time. So here, after World 4, the disc has to load a little more of the game into RAM. That's why there was a little bit more of an extra pause between Worlds 4 and 5 at the halfway point there. Which is pretty interesting. What else we got going on here? Teleroboxer uses it, yes. No, I don't think there's anything in Virtual Boy Wario Land that used it. But okay, so yeah, we got upside down piranha plants now. I don't think that ever appears in the first Mario 1. That was not intentional right there. Okay, first appearance of this bonus room, I think. So there's a multi-coin block on the right. But let's get big first. And then we can get back up here. Get some more of these. But yeah, halfway through the game. So, Jess, this is when you're saying things start picking up a notch. This is the first introduction of wind. Of course there's got to be a secret. Well, no, again. Sometimes the 1-ups aren't appearing, which is weird. And in OG Mario 1, the way it works is that invisible 1-ups only appear if you collect all of the coins in the previous world's -3 stage. And I know that led to me to so much confusion as a kid. Like, how come the 1-ups are there sometimes and they're not? The exception to that is if, like, you warp to a world, then the 1-up will always be there. Alright, speaking of... I don't think this isn't the end, is it? No, it makes you think it's the end. So if you do this vine, that leads you to world 6 or 7, I think. And if you don't do that, you come here to this wall, and you think you've hit a dead end. And again, I mentioned there's a few times in this game where it just makes you hit some invisible question mark blocks for some reason. Okay, we don't have double digits, so I guess we're going for points this time. There you go. Imagine water physics. Should have made Mario games like this and kept adding stuff to it. Well, we're gonna see some funky water stuff coming up. And into another underground level here. So, yeah, unlike the original, where the underground levels are 1-2 and 4-2, here it's completely changed, everyone. Now it's 5-2. Okay, well, we don't want that. Oh god. Let's go around this guy then. But I want the power-up that I know is down here. Okay, I tried to do a duck jump again. Maybe my down's not working right? I had that problem with another controller once, where... Remember after we played Star Force? I think I just wrenched on the down on the D-pad too bad. And it seemed like after that, down wasn't working as well. Maybe I've done it again. I just have a tendency to really hammer down on the D-pad sometimes. Okay, so look at that. So if you want to warp to World 8, which we won't be doing, but if you wanted to, this block has the vine that will lead you to World 8. Oh no. I'm trying to get above the world here. That would make our life so much easier. This is one of the worst jumps in the game. Just absolutely terrible to try and land on that perfectly and maintain your running speed and then not running into the guy so that you don't fall down the gaps. But that's the winner's way of doing that one. And unfortunately, no double digits, but we can go over the flagpole. Now, Mario 1 would let you just kind of keep running forever, and you'd be stuck until you ran out of time. But Mario 2 is cool. It actually doesn't allow you to enter purgatory like that. But yeah, I've certainly noticed that too about graphics. Like, I'm certainly not asking for anything more than already exists. I'm quite happy with even, you know, this, as clearly you can see. So this is a funky level where the beginning room here just loops and loops and loops until you go in that pipe. But one reason you might want to come to this area is because there's actually an invisible power-up block. And that's a big part of Mario 2 is invisible blocks. Like, if you know where the power-ups are at, you will have... I don't even know what to say to that. That is so bad. We've been stuck at Crown 8 for a little while now. I want to exceed Crown 9. What happens if we pass that? That was just like the saddest freaking death. Okay, I don't like blooper here. Get that guy out of our face. And now we might even be able to like loop around again, and then it'll be like a flower the next time. But okay, we gotta get serious. We can't be dying this early into the game here. What is that, like our third death? Maybe fourth? Or am I shortchanging myself there? Probably third. Alright! But yeah, like, if you know where secrets are, you can have a much easier time with this game. Of course, you still have to get all the platforming down, but being able to take an extra hit here and there is certainly nice. Oh my gosh! Okay. This is not good. This is not good. Someday I'll get in there. This is not hard. I don't know why I'm making this seem so hard. I just want this first one to go away. Alright, we're waiting. We're playing the patience game here. No more Mr. Nice Guy. Ugh. Thank goodness. Looks like a Kaizo level. Yeah, I kind of had that feel to it. And here's the multi-coin block here. do I think this game is badly designed? I have a ton of fun with this game. And like, I've played so many tough NES games that I don't see anything here that I think is like outrageously bad or over the line compared to other games I've played. I agree from the standpoint of them not localizing it because it was too similar to Mario 1, where there's that angle to it too. It's not good, but I mean, how am I supposed to prepare for bullet bills in my face? Doesn't seem all that fair. Oh gosh. Okay. But yeah, like, I don't think that it would have been too difficult of a game back in the day. But I do think that it makes sense for Nintendo to want to release something that is a little different and doesn't just seem like new levels for a game that came out before. Like, if Mario's going to be your staple series, I could see how you'd want it to be a little more innovative. No. That was just very poorly played. But like, yeah, so I agree with it being too similar to Mario 1 reason for not localizing it more than I agree for it being too difficult side. That's how you do that. Maybe that's our fourth death. Why? Who's even counting? I'm the only one counting, so why bother? But I mean, it's fun to see how you get through a game. Level 5 castle though, world 5 here. Let's see how we can do it. So, we got Potobos. We got lots of fire bars. Here's kind of a odd gap. And of course, a few more fire bars. I mean, that's not really where I wanted to go, but it worked. Whew. Game is far better designed than other NES games out there, like say Bart versus the Space Mutants. Or okay, Rocky and don't even put Rocky and Bullwinkle and Bart versus the Space Mutants on the same page. I have like Bart versus the Space Mutants as a guilty pleasure, partly because I grew up with it, partly because I don't think it's awful, but it has issues for sure. Rocky and Bullwinkle, I didn't enjoy at all. it's a weird one. All right, again, we got to get over Crown 9 at some point. I think you can get a one up here if you kick those guys down, but we'll live. It's like a random thing it does there. Okay. But yeah, World 6, we're getting into the later stages here. Oh, that's sad. Although I was actually about to make a comment about how you can't get this power up anyway if you're already big, because the flower would kind of be stuck up there, so it ended up working out. But now, can I make this jump? No, I can't. Hi Jess, gotta say, Mario World can be the easiest game ever if you master it. Man, we're stuck on Crown 8. Someday we'll get above it. Someday. Yeah, Mario World, once you know what you're doing, it's not too bad. Of course, it's helped by the fact that you can go to like the top secret area or any level you want anytime and get any power-ups you want. And the cape is so darn OP. Like, just the most OP power-up ever. So now we went through a lot of work to get down this pipe just for it to be like a freaking underwater section. I don't think anybody voluntarily wants to play underwater areas of Super Mario Brothers 1 or 2. Mario, like, there's kind of like some jank physics when you're under here. You get like pulled down into the holes for some reason. And I don't even think it was all that helpful. Like, it's just... Actually, this might be the end. So, I guess it was kind of a skip, but it was an odd skip. Mario World is your favorite game of all time. I think it could beat it with your eyes closed. I love Mario World so much. If you had to choose what, left to right platforming Mario game is my favorite, probably Mario World. But does that include the fact that I like it because it's so ROM hackable, and I think there's some incredible ROM hacks for it too, which... I have an effects pack now for the NES, or the Super Nintendo. Remember how much trouble we were having before? About like, oh, that hack doesn't work, that hack doesn't work. Well, now we can play them all, and I definitely want to play a whole ton of Mario World ROM hacks. So I hope everyone's looking forward to that. And I hope that you're enjoying Mario 2J here, as, you know, we had that kind of underwater section before in the last level. And now we got like a whole underwater level. Look at that. Bloopers, tentacles. Not even phasing Mario's face there. Okay, 88 money. If I could keep that. We haven't done it in a while. Get an extra life at the flagpole. Now, on one hand, it's like I hate that I'm not collecting all those coins, but on the other hand, we can turn 88 into a 1-up. I guess we might as well do it. And we have to remember that there are those invisible coin blocks at the end here. So let's not hit those by accident. And there you go! People have gotten so creative with Mario World ROM hacks, the quality is just nuts. Yeah, in a lot of cases it doesn't even look like a Mario game anymore, and I'm on the fence about those ones. Like, I don't mind it seeming like it's still a Mario game. I just love seeing, like, the different levels and things, and sometimes I like when, oh, no. Actually, I think this level might have another power-up coming up anyway. Oh, boy. But, like, yeah, you know, there's some of those, but even just, like, the basic ones that still look kind of vanilla. Those can be great too. I just love new levels in Mario World. And this is kind of like, you know, Nintendo's official ROM hack of Super Mario Bros. 1 in a way. Oh, I wanted to go over the flag. But we've already done that, I guess. So another thing we're going to be playing on the channel is Super Luigi U. I figured we started the year with me beating a Mario game. Crown A lives, everybody! That I had never beaten before. Started, but never beaten before. So I want to finish the year with one more Mario game. What's the pattern for this again? No. With one more Mario game that came out years ago. I played like the first bit of it and then never finished, and that is Super Luigi U. It might be down up. Okay, think that the game like that. So yeah, we'll be doing Super Luigi. Oh no. I don't know why. I just jumped. I'm like, there's got to be something. And then I saw the platform in the lava, and I realized I had made a horrible mistake. Okay, now let's put this down. So yeah, Super Luigi U coming soon to a YouTube video player near you. And I assume that will take more than one stream. But I'm looking forward to it. And it's probably going to bring back PTSD of Nintendo giving me a warning on the Miiverse for posting something about a secret exit of the OG Super Mario New U. And I'll try not to get banned from the Miiverse this time as we play through it, but okay. Oh my gosh! Yeah, you really gotta kind of take your time in the castle levels. I love just running forward, but you know, they put so much in your way that you kind of gotta look before you jump, right? Like, this is terrible. You know I'm gonna jump, and there's gonna be a flame right in my face. Alright, we got time. Like, I saw the first one, I'm like, okay, well, there's not going to be another one that close. Yes. Jess. Yeah, it's getting tougher. It's definitely getting tougher. Luigi U Marathon. What, is it like Mario Wonder? I remember almost nothing about that game. I was watching someone play that a couple of weeks ago, and it's like, I don't even remember that level. It's all just one big mess, that game, in my memory. So I don't encourage anyone to ever play an entire game in one sitting like that. I mean, like, there's obviously differences. Like, if we're playing this in one sitting, this is not the same. Whoops! I like how he moves still as he's dying. This is not the same as, like, Mario Wonder, though, obviously. Thank you so much, Extreme Wreck, as I then have, like, the dumbest death ever following that. You know, that's me. I die on the easy parts, but, like, the hard parts. It's like, no problemo here. But, of course, the wind. No one likes the wind in Mario 2. The wind has always kind of been one of those controversial points. The things that people point to on why Mario 2 is a more jank game than the original. Now, I think that's a star, but I think what you do is you do this, and then you can get this. Any power-ups in this room? And, like, you're even putting enemies in the bonus room now? Which is like, I thought this was supposed to be a reward. And here we are. Still on the brink of death. So I think that this leads to, like, an area that isn't even connected to the main level. Like, this is just, like, a complete side room. And can I get a 1-up from this? Yes, we can. Where's the bounce back? I knew it was going to happen at some point. And see, yeah, this isn't even like the main level. Now we're in like another, so this is more like a bonus room. No enemies, can't get the multi-coin block because we're not big. And then it brings us to here, and like, how am I supposed to... Okay, I won't complain about that. Okay, no. Look at all these enemy interactions. Bouncing back and forth. I don't want to jump up and have it shoot, but like it might not be because I'm close enough to it, but... Alright, again, World 7, we're getting a little more serious here. And it's not too bad once we get the hang of it. It's true. I consumed Mario Wonder too fast. I did. I don't know in what world I thought that was a good idea. And I would never do that again. I would never stream the entirety of a game in like one sitting like that again. So here we have much like I think 5-2 it was, where we had to go into the pipe or else you just kind of loop into oblivion. Sully Rocks, oh! Someone want to explain what the heck just happened there? Facing through the brick, thank you! We've beaten quite a few ridiculous NES games on the channel. And yeah, we're adding this to the list here today. But I've played a lot of Mario over the years, so I appreciate everyone who's watching and checking it out and hope that you are enjoying. So yeah, we're almost done the main game, and then it's World A through D. And World 9, which again we should unlock. We used the backwards warp zone, but I don't believe that locks you out of anything in the OG version here. So this is an interesting appearance of fire bars outside of castle levels. Now again, I'm just jumping. I don't even know where I'm jumping to. Okay, we have to bounce. So in the Game Boy Color version of these levels that you unlock in Mario Deluxe, you don't get the bigger bounce, and like some things are almost impossible because of that. Okay, but this is one of the worst levels in the game, because you got these green springs, and you just kind of have to guess where you are up in the air. Like if you can assume that you're always kind of centered, but it's still, you know, it doesn't make this all that fun. Whoa, okay. Yeah, this is probably one of my least favorite levels in the game. Just because it's so much like, you can't even see what's happening. Ugh, okay. Now, I don't know where we should come down on this one. Probably somewhere around here. I don't know where I am. And of course, the springs, too. It's like you gotta press A at the right time. It's not all that great. Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that. I was not expecting to beat that without a death, but there you go. So yeah, Gemworld Galaxy, I know exactly what you're talking about, so we may or may not see that again soon. World 7 Castle is kind of a beast, so let's see how we can deal with this one. But yeah, again, thanks so much for watching, everyone. Here's one of those invisible blocks that, like, once you know it's there, will make your life 10 times easier. So you can go above the castle, but then I think you get stuck and have to wait for time to run out. Here's one of those jumps where, like, Mario doesn't want to fit into it, but we somehow got in there. And if you do this, you should get a 1-up. There you go. When you can get a 1-up in a castle level, you take it. Now, again, it doesn't look like it, but you can kind of hide out in the corners here. So you should do that. Save yourself a lot of trouble. There you go. Now, I don't remember what the rest of this looks like. It seems simple enough. Not too many Bowser deaths with fireballs today, but there's one for you. Gotta go fast, says Jess. I mean, we talked already about how in the castle levels it's like you shouldn't, but I have such a tendency to. What's the difference? Lakitu, I think, right? 8-1, everybody! So if this was Mario 1, this would be a really long level with no power-ups and no checkpoints. I still don't think there's any checkpoints. And you only get like 300 seconds in that version too, where here you get power-ups, you get all sorts of stuff. But the trick here is you gotta make some funky jumps. And there's wind. Of course there's wind. Got fuzzy beetles. No! I don't think there's any enemies behind me, hopefully. Oh, great. Take our time. Here's a kind of funny jump. Do I have to bounce on anything? Like, where am I going even? Oh no, there is a thing! Okay. And see, that's why you go fast, because that guy was completely out of sync because I, like, didn't just go for it. But, now we'll play it the legit way. Bringing fireballs into a level, that's totally cheating. Okay, so let's do this. Yeah, we're getting into concentration mode here. Bounce like that. I feel like, again, like this is just where it's like, go for it. Don't think about it. And just go for it. So the red piranha plant, yeah, even when you're standing beside it, doesn't do anything to stop him from coming at you. I feel like this is the trick here. No! He went up through the... Oh. Up through the pipe? Like, how is that fair? Is this even possible as small Mario? Not really. I feel like the devs just put wind in the later levels to make the game a bit different from OG Mario. But alright, we got this. We've got this. We've totally got this. I swear we do. This is why we built up all those lives for the last world. Crown 7, everybody. Do you think we can manage? So you can stand on top of the pipe and they won't spawn, which is nice. Where's the mushroom here? Okay. So yeah, you essentially have to be big to get that bounce. Now, here's where we just kind of go for it. Actually, no, we want to kick this at this guy, right? That's what we want. And now he's kind of bouncing back and forth. We've kind of added an extra obstacle for ourselves, but we can stop that. And now here's where we just go. Oh my gosh. Take that. And now we should be clear. We can get a couple of coins here, so we have 88. And remember, we haven't done it too much. We can try and get a 1-up. I think this is the flag, right? There you go. 8-1. Gex is where it's at, yeah. Unlike people who actually like Bubsy, I've said I want to stream the Bubsy games. I've never beat any Bubsy game, but I think it'd be fun to check them out. See if they're really that bad. I know 3D is really bad. I've played a bit of the Super Nintendo one, but I don't remember it being, like, criminally awful. There's a thing here, right? Okay, well, not that. And there might be more. So, yeah, you get... As I was saying, there might be more. So you get the castle walls in the background, which is cool. And a big difference we're going to see in 8-3 from the Super Nintendo version of the game is the inclusion of those walls with the clouds. And in the Super Nintendo All-Stars, it's a cloud level, but they got rid of the castle walls, and it kind of changes the dynamic of the level, as you'll see. No, we're playing on an AV Famicom today. So we're playing. Yeah, not NSO. It's not HD enough for NSO. But okay. This is where things get a little tricky. So we got Lakitu. I was trying to do a low jump because I realized if I bounced on him, then I'd hit Lakitu. But I didn't want to do that. Something like this, I think is what we want. Get up here, let's take out Lakitu. Is there a block here? There is. And we can probably do that. And see... The blocks that blend in with the castle, those are invisible blocks in the... You're kidding. You're freaking kidding. In the Super Nintendo version. So... It changes it because you can use those blocks as platforms even without hitting them in the 8-bit version. But because you have to hit them before you can stand on top of them in... what's it called? On the Super Nintendo, you know, it makes the level more difficult. And as a kid, I had no idea what I was supposed to do here because I didn't realize there was invisible blocks. When in this version, it's much more obvious that there's blocks there. Okay, just gotta get up there. It's a little bit of a high jump. And we're almost at the end. Oh, I didn't do the thing with 99, but oh well. Home Alone on SNES I enjoy, yes. Beat Bubsy 1 on the collection recently. Unfortunately, I had to save at the beginning of each level. Couldn't beat it in one go, says Super Tom Brother. How many continues does that game have? We'll have to figure it out someday. Alright, Extreme Wreck, thanks for watching. Have a great night. Music is pretty good. Okay, everyone. Final level here. Before we get into the extra stuff, how will we fare with 8-4? World 8 tripping me up a little bit. I mean, as it should. Things are getting a little more difficult. But let's see, can we get a first try clear on 8-4 here? So in the original Mario 1, the underwater section's like this really weird green color, where it's interesting there to play an underwater castle area. That's just the normal color, but the blocks are blue, which is kind of funny. So there's a mushroom that will really help you out. And then here, kind of need to do like a funky sea jump, and this is one of those cases again where you really want to duck to make sure you're fitting in there. There's a bit of a maze element to this room, where you kind of want to stay low. If you go too high, the game doesn't like it. Just like that. Okay, now we are just one really awkward jump away from the end here. This is one of my least favorite parts of like any Mario game, is this thing. Okay, we did it. Don't forget to get fully powered up. And this is it, the final room. If you fall down there, there's invisible coins that stop you from coming back up, and you have to play the whole level over again. So don't do that. Now I kind of forget if there's anything else. Okay, take our time. Got firepower. Beetle's a pain. Kick him to the left, because if you kick him to the right, I've had many times where he bounces back off that step and gets me. And that is 8-4. There's a Bubsy collection? I don't know if I knew that. Doesn't it include like Bubsy 3D? I'm surprised they even want to acknowledge like their old stuff. So at the end of Mario 2J, you go into this door, and then you get this cutscene here with some Famicom Disk System exclusive sound, and we get 100,000 points for every life that we had left. How many was it even? GG Christian, thank you! Sully rocks! Appreciate you checking out the stream, glad everyone's having fun. Look at that score going up. So not too shabby. I mean, I'm kind of embarrassed with how World 8 went. 8-1 had a bit of jank, but hopefully everyone enjoyed it nonetheless. And here you go. So I believe this is showing like every toad that you found, right? Like if you skip worlds, maybe it doesn't show them all? Or maybe it does. I don't remember, but I think it will still let us go to World 9 because we beat every level, right? Even though we did mess with the warp zones a little bit. Okay, well, start just pauses apparently, so I guess we're watching this. Easy! We got some loading going on. Please take us to World 9? Yes! Okay. Now here's the meanest thing. It takes you down to 1 life. All those extra lives we had, it takes you down to 1, and if you die, you have to play the whole game over again to try it again. Like, that is one of the meanest things I think a Mario game has ever done. So yeah, we're in World 9, the like weird underwater above ground level, and you can't hit question mark blocks when you're underwater. I'm just really stressed right now because I want to show you all of World 9, but you know, if we die, we get booted back to the title screen, and there's no continue options. So, allow me to have a panic attack here for a second. Thankfully, you keep your power up. So, you know, we have firepower, which means we can kind of just burn every obstacle we encounter. I don't think there's any bullet bills underwater. But yeah, World 9, everybody! It's funky, it's weird. Definitely get here with firepower, if you can. Or else you will suffer. And also, because we still have double-digit coins, we can actually get a 1-up by doing this. So try to do that as well. Yes, you can, Sully Rocks. Yes, there you go. Isn't World 9 the easiest world? Well, if you don't have fire and all those bloopers and Lakitus and stuff, I don't think that 9-1 is that simple. 9-3 and 4 are really simple. But like, you know, Lakitu underwater is not a combination. It's like toothpaste in orange juice. Nobody likes Lakitu in their water. But yeah, we're just gonna take it real easy here. So yes, the weird fantasy world that you only access if you beat every level in the game, or again, if you're playing the Super Nintendo version, you have to not use any warp zones, even backwards ones. Will cancel you out from being able to access this crazy place. Okay, now I still don't want to get any money, because we're still at double digits, and I'd love to keep that. We can get another one up. Not that I think we're going to need them for 9-3 and 4, but doesn't hurt. So remember, get that digit on the counter there, matching up with the coin counter, and we're up to 3 lives now. It's not done, says Jess. No, we still have A through D to play. Okay, 9-3, outdoors castle level. I love when like a castle kind of melds with the outdoors, and you see that in like the first castle of Mario Wonder. That was one of the things when I mentioned earlier. Okay, I want this. Mario, just talking about Mario Wonder makes my skill go out the window. But I was talking earlier about Mario Wonder and how there were things about it I didn't remember. Well, I saw someone playing the first world castle, and I love how you can see like out the back, and you can see part of outside from inside of the castle. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. I love when games do that. And like, I didn't remember that at all. What the heck? Not that we really need any more money or stuff. Here's something that's always bothered me, is I always wanted to get into that part of the pipe as a kid when I played the Super Nintendo version. But to my knowledge, I mean, you could probably like hack in a floor there, but in the main game, there's unfortunately no way to do it. Not that it would probably lead anywhere different anyway. And just like that, we're pretty much done here. Both the vine and that pipe led to the same really weird bonus room. We have the walls here. If you can go up over this and like completely skip that guy, but we went down since we had firepower, and there's no way for us to get to the top now. But there you go. You wish they'd add to it a bit. So yeah, the question is, what's the next big thing for Mario, right? You know, we hear about how the Odyssey team, you know, worked on Donkey Kong, so just what's up with Mario 3D's future? Should be interesting. And here's your Japanese lesson of the day. Arigato. Exclamation mark. Yeah. Thanks for playing my game. And just like that, World 9 done. But here's the problem with World 9 in the original Super Mario Bros. 2, is that it loops forever. There is no way to get out of it once you're in it, with the exception of game overing. So that's what we're about to do. It's time to take ourselves out here with good old Mr. Piranha Plant. This is the precursor of the thank you screen in Mario 3D World. I mean, like, even at the end of, like, Mario 64, you know, he thanks you. I'm trying to think of Mario World. No, it just says the end at the end of Mario World. And I'm thinking of that screen where it shows, like, Luigi, Peach, and Mario standing together. Mario 64 might be the first game that thanks you. Bowser's blue brother right there, says Diego. Hi, Loot. Hope you're having a great night. We're just destroying ourselves here so we can play the rest of the game. Because we're stuck in World 9. And you got a special message. You're a super player. We hope we'll see you again, Mario and staff. So you only get that if you die in World 9. Because yeah, that's it. You're stuck forever there. They could have put like a warp zone or something to get you out of it. But just like that, back to the title screen, where we now have enough stars to hold A and press start. And it will once again load. You know, it has to load a different part of the disc than it was expecting you to. And we're in World A now. 4 more worlds to go. 8-bit games. Yeah, don't question their logic. And of course we lost all of our lives again, so it's going to be our job to, once again... Oh my gosh, what do I do? I managed to place those 2 shells in the absolute worst spot. I couldn't have done it worse if I tried. Okay, if we get game over before we like even get into the world, that would be so dumb. Okay. Now the reason I want to come up here so bad is because I want this. Let me down. Okay, thank you. Okay, now we can get back on the right track again. That guy turned around, and I was not expecting it. So I don't believe these levels are necessarily that hard, but you know, I'm gonna make them look hard. I'm gonna make you think that these are the most difficult levels, apparently. One really funny thing about the HUD up there is you'll see the bottom 2 pixels of the letter A have bled into the rest of the screen, and they are scrolling along with the level instead of properly staying at the top where they belong. And that's because the letters are longer than the numbers are. So it makes for like this really weird kind of glitch at the top of the screen that you only see when you're in these worlds. Now, let's try and get a power-up back somewhere. Well, that's not the power-up we want. Let's get out of here. Now, what's this all about? Maybe a 1-up? I certainly need it. Not quite. Okay, we can probably go with this one. And unfortunately, because we're not big, we're gonna miss out on like half of this stuff. There's gotta be a mushroom somewhere. Wonderful. Ugh, alright, the old double jump trick. Almost to the end of A-1. I don't know why this is making me panic so much. This isn't that bad. I mean, I'm making it look really bad, but it's not that bad. And speaking of lives, I think we'll do the double digit thing since we've lost all of our reserve. There you go. Thank you so, Christian, thank you so much for your super chat earlier and just for all your support overall. Really hope you enjoyed the stream. I'm not going to be too much longer here and hope you have an absolutely excellent night. They should make more 8-bit Mario games. I've always thought that. Remember when Mega Man came back with 9 and 10 and it was 8-bit again? If they made like, you know, an either 8-bit or 16-bit Mario game, I think it could be really cool. But then there's ROM hacks, right? Like, you don't really need that because the fans have done such a phenomenal job already. Perfect. Alright, let's see what we got. We got an underground level, A-2 here. There's probably something hidden in like one of these blocks, but you could spend all day checking them all. I think if you go above the level here, I wasn't expecting him to fall down between that platform and the wall, but this is why we're getting extra lives. Oh, I was hoping it would take us back to the beginning, because then that would mean another opportunity to get the 1-up mushroom that was there. But overall, again, people say that this game is a lot more difficult than Mario 1, but one really nice thing about it is just how many 1-ups there are all over the place. Where the original Mario 1 has like 10 1-up mushrooms in total, in this game, like every other level has a 1-up mushroom. Speaking of which, let's get another 1-up here. Some of the music in Mega Man 9 rocks. It does. Mega Man 9 has a great soundtrack. There's Mario 35, Count Diego. Oh my gosh, I miss Mario 35 so much. We would be playing it so much still if it existed. And like, I just realized that Metroid 99 is over 2 years old now. Why is it that they got rid of Mario 35 so quickly? And like these other games have a way longer shelf life. I'll never understand it. Okay, we're at 99 coins. So let's do the trick again. And there you go! So yeah, you could warp to World B from A-2, and I think at some point there's also a warp to World D. It's interesting how these 4 worlds are kind of, you know, their own thing, and I'm curious how back in the day you were supposed to find out about these extra worlds. Like, did you have to, you know, read about it in a magazine or... Wow, that's power-up. Killed all my upwards momentum, and ended up killing me in the end as a result. That's not how I wanted that to work. Okay, I cannot hit this block. For the freaking life of me. Oh, okay. A-4. Showing a little bit of fangs here. Got a big old staircase. See what I'm talking about? But like Mario can't fit into some gaps? I thought maybe that shell would lead to a 1-up or something, but instead... Look at that floating bullet bill cannon. I pressed A the instant that I got hit. I have to deal with bullet bills and fire. Not the healthiest combination. And there you go! Unfortunately, no 1-up, I don't think, in the castles from hitting the axe at the same time that you have, like, 99. You got this game on GBA via import. Yes, so that's what was mentioned earlier about how there was some Game Boy, or rather NES classics and such on the GBA that we never got. And yeah, Mario 2 was one of those. For sure. I think there's probably a 1-up in here. There we go. It never hurts to have too many of those guys. Come on, bring out our Mario 2J skills, Jess. I think we've done pretty well so far. I don't know why World A gave me so much trouble. I think, I don't know. Just, again, like I said, Nintendo's paid me to make it seem more difficult than it is. Because if I didn't pretend that this game was really tough, people would riot and ask why it wasn't brought here originally back in the day. Like, there you go. See, I was paid to take that hit. Now, seeing if we can go into any of these pipes or not. Now, here you know there's, again, question mark, or rather, invisible coin blocks. Because of how jank that is. No! Just like I was saying. But okay, so, like, let's hit all these blocks so that we don't phase through the floor again. And then we can get the star. And, like, I feel bad about skipping the whole level. But, like, why do they put that there, then? Back pro flying all stream. I appreciate it. Thanks, everyone. Hope you've been having a great night. Jess, I haven't played either. I've heard good things about both, naturally. I think that Crossworlds is so cool because it's neat to see characters from so many different franchises. I assume that world will probably get DLC at some point. I wonder if they'll do the whole, like bring back Zelda and Animal Crossing and stuff. If they make like a whole, like Animal Crossing Island and Legend of Zelda Island to go along with them, that could be neat. I mean, yeah, you'll have to see how things go from here. But okay, B-2 is Underwater Town. So, as mentioned, it's not like the difficulty in these extra worlds continues from where World 8 left off. I've just, for some reason, been playing horribly ever since we got to the bonus land here. But, like, these aren't the worst levels in the game yet. Maybe I'm forgetting, like, C and D are really bad. But I feel like most of the deaths I've had in the extra levels so far are just because all my skills out the window. It's that time of night. Oh, I went to 67 coins. We could have had a 1-up here. Well, at the very least, let's get some points. Did you see how I went through the top of the flagpole and then got 2,000 instead? Oh boy. Hi, Zach! Things are going great tonight, thank you. Hope you're doing well. Wonder if Mario Kart will go back to numbered titles again sometime. Yeah, what was with 7 and 8? Windows did it too. Where like 7 and 8 were numbered. I guess they numbered 10 and 11, but it's funny that Mario did 7 and 8 as well. So we could use that green spring. What would I be missing if we did that? Maybe I'll use this one? Let's try and get our double-digit coins for a 1-up. If there's any more coins, maybe not. Again, that scary moment where, like, you don't really know where you are when you're up in the sky. I just did not make a long enough jump there. Doing awesome, Zach? Glad to hear it. Glad everyone's having a great night. First stream in a while, and it means a lot that everyone's been checking it out as well as with the channel in general. People have been watching the videos and the shorts. I'm so glad. No, I realized I had pushed it too far. So Mario 2J is interesting because in Mario 1 you have to use a code if you want to continue from the world where you... Okay, let's get serious, where you died. But in Mario 2J, you're always asked if you want to continue. But you continue from the beginning of the world, so it's not like in All-Stars, where they changed Mario 2J so that you could always continue from the level that you died at instead of the beginning of the world. But okay, let's get serious here. So we're gonna land there. We're gonna do a jump like that, and this is just like a gigantic leap of faith. Like pixel perfect edge of the platform leap of faith, it would seem. And now you know why we've been accumulating extra lives. So let's watch out. Again, don't know where I am. Somewhere around there. You can probably skip this one and go here, right? Maybe if I was fast enough, I could have skipped this one too. Okay. Alright. No game over, says Zach. I don't want it. We're gonna be doing our best. You didn't die in Super Mario Bros. 2 USA until 3-3. I mean, Mario USA, you get like the hearts and everything. So you can... Oh man, that's not worth it, trying to get that one. I don't think there's any way that's worth it. Okay, go down here. So I think this level actually has a warp zone, where there's going to be a bunch of pipes coming up, and normally going in them will take you back to the beginning of the level. But I think there's one of them that will take you to World D instead, which is kind of funny. And it looks like it's a maze right now, but it's actually just like the same thing repeated a bunch of times to make you think you're in a maze. So it's like doing mind tricks on you. So like, I think this is the one that takes you to World D. Nope. Okay. Okay. Here we go. You ready? You ready to get serious? This is what we've been waiting for. Okay, so we've done that part. Go over here. Yeah, B-3 gave me a little bit of trouble, more than I was expecting, but we'll make up for it. At the very least, it's got the World C, so we never have to play World B again. But I don't want a game over. It's not why we're here. Okay, coming up should be the end. This is the one I think that takes you ahead. Okay. And there you go. So I went to Japan a couple months ago, and it was just for fun. No, I didn't do it as any kind of big project or anything like that. But no, it was really nice finally getting to go over there. It had been years. My first like massive trip since the before times. So no, it was good. Got to see some stuff. So I got to go to the Tokyo Game Show where I played a demo of the new Professor Layton game, which was announced like in 2023. I did a stream, like the one Nintendo Direct I streamed live. And it's funny because it was the one where Layton was announced. Holy moly. No way. Well, that's a demo of what the game over screen looks like. Thankfully, it happened in the -1 level. I thought the guy wasn't going to come back out because I was standing on top of it, but nope. Calculated that one wrong. Yeah, I knew there was supposed to be a 1-up there, but it didn't load last time, so keep note of that. I knew that there was a 1-up. I should have had that 1-up. The game didn't load the 1-up, so I call shenanigans all around. And, it wouldn't have been a true full playthrough if you didn't get to see what the game over screen looked like, but alright. Back on track here. Something like that. There's another massive jump. But yeah, considering that there's no E3 anymore, the Tokyo Game Show is kind of like the place to go, I guess, to find out and, you know, try out all the new stuff that's happening. And yeah, so here we are in like year 3 since Layton was announced. And it's coming apparently. Someday. Not fair, says David Ray. No World E, says Real. So no, it ends after World D. I don't know what made them think that like there should be 4 extra worlds. And again, exactly the method that you're supposed to even find out that you have to hold A on the title screen to unlock them. Because yeah, in the All-Stars version, like it just starts after you beat World 8 or World 9 if you unlock it. But the way that you have to access them in the original version is so weird. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Back on track. I'm never prepared for those big, like you gotta be right at the edge before you press A jumps. And, you know, not being big is gonna make this even more difficult. Ugh, but it's still possible from the looks of it. Okay, green spring or a power-up. Went with the power-up. I would love to not get any coins because we were at 33 there. But it looks like that's not an option. Introducing the What If the Switch 2 was called the Game Boy 7. Yeah, like Switch 2, so they're just gonna go the PlayStation route now, and you know, someday there'll be a Switch 3 and 4. Be interesting to see what they do. So here we go, everybody, the return of 7-3. The level I was shocked to not die on the first time we played it. Now a little more difficult with like Lakitu and stuff. That was a good lucky hit. Alright, let's see what we can do. And like, I never know where you are, so kind of just have to get lucky. Ugh, okay. Do I want that power-up? Probably. When the one spot that you fall is like the one little gap. Again, I think that these springs are cool, but it's like, you can't even see what you are. There could have been like an arrow or something. No, obviously not back in the NES days, but it's funny, like, just the concept. Okay. Ugh. Ever so slowly. You know, it's better if you have like a bit of momentum going into it. And then you can at least... Okay. Let the Spinies do their thing. And yeah, Lakitu, I guess, despawn, which is pretty nice. Still got the wind going on. So, like, let's get a nice speedy boost here. Oh, no! No! Yes! I'm like, I was pretty sure I had to... I don't care, I don't care. There you go. Oh, I was sure I was dead at one point there, where I'm like, I think you had to rebounce on the spring, but I was fast enough that we made it. Oh my gosh. Okay, here we go. Localized Mario 3. But no, this is great. I love Mario 2J. I appreciate everyone who's here checking it out with us tonight. Okay, something like that. Here's like a really scary gap again, if you're big. Lucky twice in a row, but I won't complain. Okay. So yeah, again, 7-4, but more difficult. And last time we had fire, so... But we might be able to get a 1-up here, which is really nice. Hopefully. Beautiful. Now here's kind of... So they've added extra blocks, where like normally I would duck. They knew that was a trick. So they made it a little trickier. Like they did that, but then look at this. They put them in both corners. There is a way, if you like run and jump at it, you can do it still without getting hit, but it's near impossible. No. Nope. You have to like not touch anything. You have to like angle it perfectly. I know we're running out of time too. Maybe if I duck. No hammers, which is nice. This looks familiar, says Jess. Yeah, a little bit. I think that was the first try. Oh my gosh. All right, one more world to go. That part's evil, Super Time Brother. Indeed, it was. Yeah, so Professor Layton, man, I was the biggest Professor Layton fan back in the day. And then there wasn't like a new game really since 2013 almost. And then they just suddenly decided, oh, it's time to bring him back. Can there please be a 1-up here? No? Why don't the 1-up spawn sometimes? It's too freaking weird. Now, is this a bad idea? I actually don't know where this goes. Sometimes you start finding the reverse, you know, warp zones when you start entering pipes, which makes me not want to enter them so much, but I think we're okay. This might be a mushroom, though, so I do want to hit it. We just need, like, a little bit of a boost. Yes. Okay, perfect. Double jump, too. A little bit of a scary thing here. This isn't the end. No, I didn't think so. Would have liked to have made it up there. But wind physics. I like how there's like 3 seconds of wind and then the end. 3 levels to go, everyone! 3 levels! That was a sick move, Jess. Thank you. Yeah, that wasn't too bad. See how you can see there the D is like way longer than the 2, causing that graphical glitch. Okay, I'm guessing if I kick this guy, we might get something good out of it, or not. Nope. This guy's jumped right over that. There's probably like a timing thing where you can make them properly timed to get the 1-up. Ooh, if I had gone up there, there might have been something good. Two more levels! Want to complain about a franchise for not coming back to you? Just try Punch-Out Fan. But you got a Punch-Out on the Wii, which is really nice. You know, Star Tropics didn't even get that. Star Tropics didn't get its... Wow. It's Wii reboot. It's Wii boot. Okay, three lives to do 2 more levels. Look at the firepower there. It's like relentless. Okay, power up. What do we got? We got castle walls. Is there any invisible blocks that can help? Ugh. Not quite. We've got invisible blocks here. You can kind of tell because there's like a straight line of white pixels. That's where the blocks are. I can't believe that I like toe grabbed that platform and then somehow still managed to get killed by him. I was gonna kick him to try and take out anything that might be coming up. Okay, 1 life. We like playing on hard mode. I definitely want the power. Okay. So, what's the trick here? Last time I think I did pretty well. I like just jump in and jump in. There you go. I was holding down, but the game seems to disagree. I don't know if there's any way to get through this. Sad. You laughed out loud at the last death? Alright, D-1, everyone. D-1 wasn't hard, and it's another case of, I know there's like a power-up, or a 1-up mushroom, that didn't load for some reason last time we played this level. So now I get to show it to all of you, where it's like right here. so why that shows up sometimes and sometimes it doesn't, I can't tell you. Because again, I told you why they show up sometimes in the original game, but Mario 2 is just weird like that. Like sometimes they always show up and sometimes they don't. Put the old double jump again. Now if we could get a few more coins. Here's where they add that wind at the end of the level for like 2 seconds. Super Dead Bro, says Super Time Brother. If you're not big on the last castle, you are screwed. But the last castle has a power-up, doesn't it? So We'll see what happens when we get there. Shouldn't be too much longer if I don't do any more silly things. Let's see if we can actually get this one up this time. Like, what's the timing for it then? I just have no clue what they want from you there. So yeah, 4-3, or rather D-3. A little bit tricky. D-2, nice and simple. So we can just pretend that game over never happened, right? You saw nothing. Super Peach Sisters, next Mario game. I'm sure there's a ROM hack for that. There's definitely. We played like Peach's Christmas Adventure. Remember that one Christmas where I played like 10 ROM hacks in a row? 10 Mario ROM hacks? That was cool. And they were all Christmas themed, which was neat. Okay. Here we go. This is the one. Something like that. Almost got hit by that again. Now we definitely want to take an extra hit into like this later section here. Oh, there was nothing to even hit with that anyway. Okay, you go under there, jump over that guy. Oh, no, 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 no. D-4, everybody! Yay for R2-D2! Erase it from existence, David Ray, right? Again, just showing you what happens. Yeah, it's mean that they, like, again, make you kind of go back to the title screen so you lose all your 1-ups. I worked hard to accumulate all of those, and they just, you know, zap them from existence. So if someone goes back and does the math, there's no way I would have got a game over if they hadn't stolen all those from me. But this is it, the last level of the night! Unless we get game over again. Cross your fingers, we don't. Alright, one last level, which looks a lot like 8-4, but it's a little different, as you'll see. I don't know how I didn't get hit by that. But yes, there are actually power-ups in this level, which is nice. 8-4 in the original Super Mario Brothers did not have any power-up. Now, normally you'd go down there, but I don't think that's how it works in this version. Instead, you go to the right, and you keep going right, and you go down this pipe, which is how you proceed in the level. Ooh, okay, now, this is probably one of like the meanest enemy placements in the game, but everyone knows that Hammer Brothers, if you wait long enough, will come towards you, right? Like, I don't know how you're supposed to fit under that guy, or even go over him when he's throwing hammers, so maybe we'll just wait it out. Roll a D4 for luck. Favorite live stream is the Minecraft. Minecraft is a weird... Yeah, see? Do a thing like that. I mean, it wasted some time on the clock just for me to freaking get hit anyway. And it wouldn't be the last level without some bloopers. Okay, I don't think... Yeah, this is the end. Bloopers in the sky. Where... Oh! Wow, we can even get coins for like a 1-up. Although I don't think we can get the multi-block because we're not big. Alright, we're getting close, everyone. Here's good old Fako. I know one of those has a mushroom. And trying to get it was my demise. Okay, well, let's do it again. Wasn't that bad. So we know where to go here. So we have the power up back. I'm waiting for the Podobo. Like that. Yeah, we'll pretend that that's exactly what I meant to do. We'll pretend I meant to do that as well. Okay. So we're gonna, I guess, go here, and then we'll wait for this guy again. It worked last time. I don't have any hit points to burn anymore. Heck is here, says Jesse. Have you played the Wii U version of Breath of the Wild? You just got it cheap, says Super Tom Brother. I feel like that's a game that's gonna skyrocket in price someday. You know, we talked about the Wii U and its day is coming where it's gonna have price jumps like we've seen GameCube and other consoles have. I feel like the Wii U Breath of the Wild is gonna be a tough one to find someday. Okay, now here we go. Ignore the wind. Go over there. Okay, so here we are back in here. Fortunately, we're probably not going to get enough coins to ever get a 1-up. Can I lure that Bowser forward far enough that I can get a mushroom out of that? Or it might just end up messing us up. No, okay. I think it's a little further than that, or it might have been closer too, but we'll just forget it. Forget that even happened. We got Hammerman here. Okay. We're getting so close. What do you do about this? Should have been there to go into that. That is Japanese Super Mario Bros. 2. Not a perfect playthrough by any means, but for not having played it in a while, I don't think I did too horribly. Plus, they stole all of my lives that I worked so hard for. But that was fun, everyone. That was fun. The original playthrough of the Lost Levels, so yes, like 2013 or something, I did like a 4-part series of the SNES version, but that was so long ago. But this is the new playthrough. Hope everybody enjoyed that. GG, David Ray, thank you. And it's the same ending we've seen. Still shows 7 toads, even though I don't remember saving that many guys. Yeah, the second part pretty tough overall. I understand where people are coming from, where, you know, they say this is a pretty difficult game, but you know, it's like Mega Man. I don't think it should be the poster child of a difficult NES game. They're not that tough once you practice them a bit. There's tougher. And I have a whole playlist on my channel of difficult NES games that we've beaten. Ghostbusters, Silver Surfer, Star Force, Castle Quest. We could go on. So if you want to see any other NES playthroughs, please consider checking out that playlist of live streams. I've marked any ones that are like complete playthroughs with a star. So I'm going to be getting on that right now and added one to the title of this stream. But thank you, everyone. Really fun to be back streaming again. Keep an eye out for announcements of future streams. And the best thing you can do is join the Discord server, where you'll definitely be getting some, you know, insight onto when streams are probably coming up next. I want to play Super Luigi U. And again, that's going to take multiple streams, but I will probably be starting that soon. And yeah, some other NES games are likely coming up as well. First stream in a while, so you can tell the throat's kind of giving out. Hopefully, it's like any other muscle. You got to train it to last a little longer. But thanks tonight, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you, Christian, again, for the super chat. I zoomed through it, Jesse. How long? Not even 2 hours? Okay. I wasn't expecting it to be that short. So I realized this is a bit of a short stream then. But as you can hear from the voice, we should probably tie this one up into a neat little package and get back at it again before too long. So yes, David Ray, thank you so much. Super Tom Brother, certain Wii U games will be worth a bunch in the future. You also have Wii U versions of several more Switch games. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the Wii U goes. But if you want to collect for it, my advice is do it now. The Wii U is so cool. When we play Super Luigi U, it's going to be on the Wii U, not the Switch re-release. It's going to be the OG, which is pretty cool. And every time I boot up the Wii U now, I do feel kind of sad, you know, and nostalgic for that era, where I didn't appreciate it as much as I should have at the time. But now that it's so far gone, and you know, you can't even get on the eShop anymore, I do miss it a lot. So yeah, the Wii U's cool. Wii U appreciation always gets an A+ here. Well, this was fun. Thanks, David Ray. Thanks, Real Super Nick Kid. Reason for the 1-up did not spawn in C-1 is because you lose the life in B3 after the checkpoint. So even if you get the required coins and reset, that's fascinating. Thank you for teaching me that, Super Nick Kid. I did not know. So again, we've talked about how in the original Mario 1, the 1-up in the next world appears if you get all the coins in the -3 level of the previous world. It doesn't seem like you have to get all the coins to make it appear in this game, but the death, I had no idea about that. So very, very fascinating. Thank you. Very happy to have learned something tonight. New Super Luigi U. Well, that's the thing. Just as this is kind of like a ROM hack of Mario 1, again, you can really hear the voices going. We're going to wrap up in just a second. Luigi U was like a ROM hack of Mario U, which is really funny. So I'm excited to check that out. But thanks, everyone. Take care. Again, happy birthday, and have a good one, everyone. I mean, not my birthday. Someone in the chat is having a birthday today. I won't tell you who. It'll be forever a mystery. But to that person, happy birthday. See you later.